joining me and Rob on the telephone. We have Eric Deggans.
Telephone.
Eric, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
we can hear you better than ever.
Loud and clear.
Cool.
How have you been? We haven't talked to you in a couple months now since Bubba's been back on the air.
Yep.
I've just been enjoying the laid-back sounds of Bubba the Love Sponge on the radio.
Hasn't it been quite a controversial little ride with the MJ show and all that stuff? It's been pretty fun, huh?
Well, Bubba promised to kind of shake up the radio scene when he came back, and he certainly did that, between going after Mark Lunsford for his lawsuit against the Citrus County Sheriff to really going after his competition, especially MJ on 93.3. It's just been a real, ragging on somebody so badly that they file a lawsuit against you is just amazing. And
it's pretty funny.
He did
nothing
but good press for him,
Speaking of lawsuits and getting videos out there, let's talk about the Polk County beating.
Yeah.
What the heck is going on there?
And Dr. Phil.
And Gloria Allred.
Well, Dr. Phil, I guess, thought he might get the inside track by bailing out one of the girls who's alleged to be at the center of this incident, where a girl was lured into a house and then beaten by a bunch of other girls. And videotaped, they had intended to put it on YouTube, but I don't think they ever did. And it offended a lot of people's sensibilities, I think in part because Dr. Phil's show is supposed to be about helping people get healthy. And this just seems so exploitive to come to people when they can't afford to bail out their kid and say, well, if you come on our show, then we'll give you the money you need to get your kid out of jail. It just seemed like kind of opportunistic. And I pointed out on my blog that it's the kind of bargain that people who go on that show cut every day. They go on the show and they talk about the most awful stuff in their life in exchange for access to rehab or access to counseling or access to somebody to help them figure out the clutter in their lives or, whatever it is that their personal problem is. And it doesn't seem like such a weird bargain because these people come on, talk about their problems, and then they get help. But really, there's this weird agreement where people kind of humiliate themselves on national television.
So, Eric, do you
and
think
as a result, they get counseling.
Do you think that Dr. Phil is becoming the next Jerry Wright or Jerry Springer?
Well, I don't know if I'd go that far, but what I do think is going on is that there's this very weird arrangement that Dr. Phil makes with the people who come on his show, and it doesn't look that exploitive when it's average people. But when he tries to reach out to a celebrity or somebody who's kind of in the public eye,
like Britney Spears, right?
It's a lot more obvious how exploitive that relationship is.
Absolutely, and self-serving also for himself and ratings. It's almost the demise of what you thought maybe might have been the last good thing in daytime television, reality kind of stuff,
Well, the other weird thing about Dr. Phil is that it's a very judgmental forum. It's about presenting these people whose lives are really dysfunctional and allowing the audience to feel superior because, obviously their lives couldn't be possibly as dysfunctional as the people who are sitting there on the stage. So, it's a very weird dynamic, and I don't think it's particularly healthy. But when you see it sort of writ large, when you see it involving something that's really well known or in the public eye or somebody who's really famous, then you can really tell what's going on. Now, if Dr. Phil were to offer help and make sure that people were doing well and then ask them to participate on a show,
that would be one thing.
I think it would be a different feeling.
Yes.
But, he doesn't have the time to help somebody out who's not going to help him out.
Hey, Eric, we just
Speaking of needing help.
Yeah, we just had a friend of yours, Manny Mendoza from Texas, with us, joining us. He just did a film about Stop the Presses, a documentary about big companies like Media General doing what they just did with the buyout. What are your thoughts on the Media General offering their employees a buyout or as opposed to
at the Tribune and Channel 8?
Sure. Well, if you talk to Manny about it, he experienced it. He went through it, and Manny.
He says hi, by the way, Eric.
Yeah, he did say hi.
Manny was one of the best reporters, TV media reporters in the country when that happened to him. So, it can happen to anybody, and basically, it's just it's a canary in the coal mine. it's an indication about how bad the media economy really is here in Florida. And, you know, the Tampa Tribune had already gone through a pretty serious layoff last year,
Sure.
I believe it was. And then we saw some pretty high-profile people, you know, Judy Hill and Bob Ross, the movie critic, lost their jobs involuntarily in that layoff. And so now they're going to people and they're offering the exact same benefits you would get if you were laid off involuntarily if you'll take a buyout. And to my mind, you know, a buyout is more money to make you, to induce you to take the offer. So I don't quite know what they want to achieve by offering people the exact same benefits they would get if they just sat back and waited to get laid off.
Well, Eric, what do you think about the Internet and its accessibility to get news and journalism? I mean, how is that? Obviously, it's affecting traditional papers and magazines badly with all of these buyouts going on. And that's what you're all about, the media.
I don't think it's...
Yeah, I don't know. You know, I mean, in our own case, we've been able to stabilize our paid circulation. And while the online sources of media have made it harder to get people to read newspapers or subscribe to them, our real problem is that online sources have eviscerated our profit model, the way that we make money.
Sure, traditional advertising, right.
Craigslist and Monster.com and a lot of these free classified services have taken away classified advertising, and you know, some newspaper companies make up to 60% of their revenue from classified ads.
Right.
We've also seen the real estate market disappear in Florida, and so, you know, we used to get a lot of ads from condo developments and from people who were trying to sell homes.
Ridiculous amount of money.
You know, the retail industry has also, you know, contracted in Florida. And we saw Macy's, for example, take a bunch of different brands and change all their names to Macy's. So now Macy's doesn't have to buy an ad to tell you about Filene's Basement or an ad to tell you about, you know, this store or that store, because they all have one brand name now, Macy's. So, you know, all of this comes together, and it really hurts traditional media.
You know, Eric, we have to ask you this question before we end our time, but your two favorite television shows that's on television right now.
Right now, okay. Well, I'm going to be very geeky. I'm going to say Battlestar Galactica is one of my favorite shows. I know it sounds really, you know, dorky because the 70s show was so dorky, but the Sci-Fi Channel has reimagined it in a way that's really exciting. Now, as far as favorite shows that are on right now, it's not on right now, but I'm really looking forward to the return of The Shield on FX, which is was supposed to be happening now, but it's now been pushed back to fall because of the writer's strike. This is going to be the final season for this cop show that is really like a cop show on steroids. And I'm a huge fan of kind of traditional cop shows, so I'm really looking forward to seeing The Shield come back and just blow the doors off with a really exciting final season.
Eric, but before we get your contact information, your least favorite show on TV right now?
My least favorite show on TV is just about any reality TV show.
No American Idol, Dr. Phil for you, huh?
Well, you know, American Idol, actually, I would say not. You know, I'm okay with American Idol. I can deal with American Idol, and I can deal with some of the gentler reality shows. But you know, stuff like Moment of Truth, you know,
that's
people
horrible.
up to lie detectors, and you know, My Dad is Better Than Your Dad.
Right.
And, you know, The Celebrity Apprentice, and you know, you just get to the point where you really wish they would just put on some actual shows.
So
let's see some scripts. Let's see some real acting. Let's see professional performers, perhaps. And I'm really kind of sick of these people who have built you know, careers on humiliating themselves on reality TV shows.
I know,
you know?
they do build careers. Give us your contact information before we run out of time.
Okay, well, you want to check out my blog, which is called The Feed, and you can get that at blogs.tampabay.com/media. And you can, you know, click on a link and send me an email from there.
And get you right there. Thank you very much, Eric. It's always a pleasure to have you on.